What's up, everybody? Aloha Friday. Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us. Let's go. All right, folks. Thank you for joining us tonight on this wonderful Friday evening. And let's bring on the blurry Uncle Charlie. Oh, my goodness, you're blurry. Like blurry,
I
blurry.
am
Yeah.
very blurry. Okay.
It's that you have what kind of internet you get?
A blurry internet.
Oh man,
Well, let
that's
me
a
see. Let me.
maybe it'll. Yeah, it's
Oh
just the
yeah, it's
Wi-Fi. It's the Wi-Fi, man. I tell you, it's hit and miss. Ever since I went to Hawaiian Telcom, perfect. Oh yeah, now it's like now you really blur it. That okay? I think it's better. Oh,
I don't know.
anyway,
I but on my side it shows it clear, but I can see how it's transmitting out there, and it's. I apologize.
aloha, Rosie. That's okay. As long as we can see you and hear you, we in business, man. We in business. Hey,
Okay.
before we get started, I wanted to send our condolences out to one of the original villagers, one of the we all love so dearly. And I just saw she just jumped on. Melissa Bolton lost her dad recently, very recently, and we are extremely sorry for your loss, Melissa. Uh, when I got your message, I was just completely heartbroken, unexpected. Um, Sending a lot of prayers to you and your mom and your entire Ohana. Big loss. I saw some of the pictures that you were posting, and yeah, it just breaks our heart. But please know that the village is there for you, and whatever you need, you just gotta let us know. Just gotta let us know.
Hmm.
But yeah, Melissa, we love you, and again, sending condolences and our love to you and your family.
Okay. Well, I am going to do some fast minute shuffling here and see how this thing
Well, that's good,
is going.
Melissa. I'm glad you're at home, and I'm glad you are with mom. And villagers, tonight before you put your head on that pillow, send a quick prayer out to Melissa and her family. Um, yeah, just so sad, so sad.
Okay.
Charlie, that's bothering you, huh?
It is bothering me. You know, I'm gonna jump off and I'm gonna come right back on, okay? So
Okay,
I'll be
doke.
right back.
Roger. All right. Charlie is like the perfectionist, right? I think it's his Wi-Fi, though. I think it's his Wi-Fi. But anyway, yeah, Melissa, man. Okay, here's Charlie coming back. Let's try to get him on. Get him right back on and see if. There you go. There you go. Man, you actually pretty damn good looking, Charlie.
I always knew internet made me look scary. But how is it now? Is it
Yeah,
is it
it's actually really really clear now. You change your camera?
yeah.
Did you
Huh?
change your camera? Did you change your camera?
No, I just spit on the lens and just polish them a little bit.
Okay, that
No.
always works.
I put on a different camera lens. Yeah. Hmm.
Melissa said her dad always said, "Remember Uncle Charlie, my wingman." Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I tried to leave her a message, but I think when I got the news and I looked at at the picture of her dad, it reminded me of my dad who passed away. Um, it's close to 40 years ago.
Wow.
And I remember I said that sometimes I want to see him so badly, and it starts to fade. And just recently, I started to see my dad in my dreams, and I asked my wife. I said, I mean, is it saying something? She says, no, he's just there watching you. And, I wanted to tell Melissa, sometimes we're not prepared when we lose a loved one. But once they're gone, just know this: he'll always be watching over you. And you have your uncles here, and like I said, if there's anything you need, you just call us. It's this world is not too far for us that we cannot go. And you have an amazing husband; he'll take good care of you. But you also have some uncles that love you very much. So don't you worry. I mean, if me and Auntie got to jump on a plane and just beeline it to where you're at, so be it. So be
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, she said he had a heart attack so unexpected. He was working in the yard, his favorite place. Yeah,
Hmm.
Melissa, that's it's always going to be tough, um, be- you know, for your mom and for you. And but like Uncle Charlie said, he's always there. And I lost my mom. It's 10 years now, man. It's like,
Yep.
gosh, it does not seem that long, but it never gets easier. But you just learn to tolerate, or it's a terrible word, but just to live with it. And trust me, I still chat with my
Hmm.
mom all the time. You know, I feel like I get a lot of guidance from her, even though she's not here physically. But I rely a lot on what she taught us, and try to live my life with how she taught us to be nice to people and treat people well. So I know one thing, Melissa. Your dad raised an amazing daughter. That much I know, and
Yep.
he's proud of you,
Hmm.
and he's always going to be. He's got another guardian angel up there, but Uncle Charlie says, we're just a phone call away, just a phone call away.
Yep.
So, yeah, you got the whole village behind you, Melissa. A village that you really helped us create, by the way.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
But
everything she
I
just said.
I do I do wanna now come on board and say you attended a very special function last night, right?
Yeah, yeah, I was at the HLTA Malama Awards. Patsy and I went. Um, Amazing event. It was I don't know, 500 people, I think.
Whoa.
Dog, I tell you, man, I have not been to an event with that many people, and it was at the Grand Hyatt, and I was blessed to be invited to pass out the awards, and and you see that many people from the hospitality industry. Um, it was amazing, Charlie. We gave away, I don't know how many awards. It was a lot. It was 2 hours on the stage just handing out certificates and trophies.
Hmm.
There's a lot of people, and there's like three of them when they got, because they nominate a whole bunch of them, and they're all
Right.
on the stage, and then they pick the employee of the year out of all the nominees, and no one knows who it is. And when they call that name, three of the employees just cried. They were so proud and happy that they cried, Charlie. I had a hard time holding back my tears. It's like these people work so hard. And one of the general managers was up, and he was talking about how they get all the credit for the success of these hotels, but if not for that frontline workers, the laundry, the housekeeping, the bellmen, all of these people that are out there every single day dealing with the visitors, there is no
They're the
success.
foundation.
Yeah,
They're
they're
they're the
absolutely.
you know um like I've said this time and time again. I, as a manager of the airport, right? It wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for people standing on the curb, people manning the exits, people in plain clothes walking back and forth to ensure the safety. Everyone ensuring the safety of the travelers as well as the employees.
Yeah.
And like I said before, when somebody acts up, we need to protect innocent people, but we also have to protect the knucklehead that acting up because we don't want anybody to get hurt to the point that they lose their lives, right?
Hmm.
So I think general manager of a hotel, and I remember my lovely wife saying this, because she's been in the hotel industry in the general managership from the Rolla Haina days, Kahala, Kapalua, Alana, Waikiki, you know, some of the big name hotels. And she said that it would not have been possible without the men and women that she has the honor and privilege to manage because they are the foundation of that property.
Yeah, just Charlie. Just
Yeah.
imagine if all your workers don't show up tomorrow. Just the airport no open. The airport will not open.
Yep.
So yeah, they
Yep.
are definitely key. So it was super nice. I mean, we go every year, and it's the
Good.
same.
Good.
They had a group from Honolulu, and they were so good, and I can't remember their name. Son of a gun, Kai. It's like Kainoa or something, but man, they were fabulous. It was just a great event. A lot of people that I haven't seen for a long time, but that's 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 the people that keep our local economy running. That people in that room were the ones, and yeah, it was awesome. Man, news
Well,
travels
let me.
fast. News travels fast. How did you know, man? It was top secret.
No, it
I
was
didn't.
just. It was just. Yeah. The news traveled really fast. But I wanted to ask you, that group. I mean, they must have been outstanding to be asked. But did they tell jokes? Did they make the people laugh? Did they do any of that? Probably not, huh?
No, no,
Ah,
it,
then
no. Um, yeah,
that's a
I mean,
run of the mill entertainment. Okay,
yeah,
okay,
I'm
got it.
surprised they didn't ask you folks to play. They had a Xavier Cummings and one of the GMs from I can't remember what hotel as the MCs, co-MCs, and they were telling jokes. But yeah, until you've seen Uncle Charlie and his group in action, which they play every Wednesday night at Troy's, uh, it's definitely entertaining. And if you guys haven't done it, if you're on Kauai, you gotta go. If you're not from Kauai, when
Yeah,
you come to Kauai, you got Wednesday nights. Come
yeah.
check it out.
Wednesday nights.
Yeah, I want to real quick special mahalo to Mona Manuel. On the show last week, we had Lieutenant Jose from the Salvation Army, and remember she said she was gonna make some bears or donate some bears for gifts,
Mm-hmm.
and she came on Tuesday. I guess it was on Tuesday,
Yeah, Tuesday.
um,
And I
and
didn't and I didn't make it, and I apologize. And I said, but no, my challenge is still there. It's in
yeah,
the
we
envelope, and it's gonna go over because you know because I didn't make it, and I was just getting bombarded down at the airport. I had to ask myself. I mean, I was trying to be chipper about what I was doing, but I was like, oh man, I wanted to just take a break and go up see you, and it was like, ugh.
bro, let me just tell you, 4 hours is a long time when you're ringing the bell by yourself. But I had a lot of people stop and talk story. It was actually okay. That first hour was brutal. It was just the clock.
Mhm.
The clock wasn't moving, and then after that, it moved along. And Mona pulled up as she said, with a big box filled with stuffed teddy bears that she makes by hand. She
Yeah.
left one out so I could see what it looks like, and I like kicked myself in Okole. I should have took a stinking picture, and I didn't. But Mona, if you're on, thank you. And when the Salvation Army guy from the Lihui Corps came and picked up the bucket, and I gave him the box, and he saw the bear, he was so happy and so
Mhm.
excited. So Mona, thank you. That's going to make a bunch of kids really, really happy. And then Jay Murata, our good friend Jay Murata from Suds Kauai, the car wash, he stopped by and he made a very generous donation in a bucket. And he also went inside and bought a bunch of toys and 5 gift cards that he donated everything to the Salvation Army. So it was definitely a success. And it's a lot of y'all stopped by and dropped off, you know, $1 or two or three or whatever it was. That night, I got an email from the lieutenant from Lihui, Samoan guy. I should have wrote his name down. And he said I broke every record for the kettle drive in my 4 hours. So, and that's not including your money, because I didn't put mine in because I was waiting for yours, Charlie. So, but
Yep.
yeah, I raised over $550 in that 4 hours, and they were very happy. And that was just the generosity of the people of Kauai. I just wanted to mahalo. Again,
Hmm.
Mona, Manuel, and Jay Murata, you guys, you know, not only did you stop by and donate, you stopped by and talk story a little while, made the time go much quicker. But 4 hours, I can tell you, Charlie, I never sit down. I stood up the whole 4 hours, and my feet still sore. My feet still sore. Oh, Mona is on. Mona is on. Yes, Mona. That's actually really nice bears. And I think you told me, oh, this one is for you, the one that was outside of the box, but I gave it to them anyway. I figured I can buy one from you. You said you had some extra, so yeah, I'll buy one from you. But yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. And Jay Murata, always supportive. In fact, like I said, he donated all these tickets for free car washes that we got to figure out a way how we're gonna give this away. This is for the villagers. This is not for me, and we will get that thing done. Maybe in the beginning of the year,
Hmm.
after the holiday season. But
You're right.
yeah, that was awesome, man. That was awesome, and even people. I will say about 80% of the people dropping money in the kettle was local people, Kauai people, but there was a bunch of visitors that were visiting that stopped and talked story, and you know, everyone knows what Salvation Army does, so they were very, very generous as well. So, a good day overall. But I tell you, next time, Charlie, I told the lieutenant, you got to make them 2 hour shifts. 'Cause- but next time, gonna be you and me, Charlie. You and me. If you and me there ringing the bell, I think we
Yeah.
raise $2,000. I think we
Oh,
raise 2,000.
easy, easy. But I'd like to say first of all, thank you, Mel, for doing what you do, volunteering for such a worthy cause. I mean, as we get older, you remember back in the younger days when we just got into the police department, right? We were pinching pennies back then. Every little thing we just couldn't part. But as time goes on and you see so many things that happens, especially when people get afflicted or just come on hard times, and then you wonder, and yet you want to give, but then in limited what you can. But if you do it in conjunction with others who have the same feeling and the same goals, then it becomes a bigger spread, and it's more you can accomplish more. And so, I'm so grateful, being in our 60s, that we're able to do this. We're able to do this. I don't think
Yeah,
before we could, but and I'm not saying by any means, I'm not rich, but I'm rich in giving. I do want to give, and I even my wife and I, when she starts to give, she'll give me that look like, honey, let go and just give.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, every single dollar helps, right? And
Right.
the way these organizations operate is they take the small donations and put them together, and they can service so many people.
Hmm.
With the they're doing the Thanksgiving drive through. 600 turkeys. Um, 600 families are gonna eat well on Thanksgiving Day, and the angel tree that he talked about on the show last week, where Kupuna and Keiki will be able to enjoy presents this year that otherwise they wouldn't have. So um, yeah, it was awesome. Mona, yeah, Mona, when after the Maui fire, she made 150 bears and sent it to Maui. Yes, Melissa says you're an angel. Yeah, you are. And I tell you, those bears are so. It's like it's professionally made. It is. It's not. It's quality stuff, and yeah, it's like perfect. It's nice, and yeah. See, now everybody wants to buy them. My sister wants to buy. Yeah, Robert, what's up, Robert McCain, all the way from the mainland. Used to be here and moved back. Miss you too, bro. Yeah, it was a good thing, and the Salvation Army. If you guys can, you can either stop by the core or go to their website. Just all you gotta do is
Hmm.
Google Kauai Salvation Army, and you can donate money, you can donate food, you can whatever, blah blah blah. Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, you know what I did notice too, because we see a lot of families that I know are struggling. They're struggling, I know that they're struggling. I know people personally, and we're all struggling, right? And yet
Hmm.
they still come and drop a dollar or two. That was insane. Just to see that just touched my heart, man. Um, so yeah, I think I'm gonna see maybe Charlie, you and me can do a day. I told him 2 hours though. That 4 hours is and no more McDonald's now. You know, before Walmart get on McDonald's right inside, so you can buy your coffee or cheeseburger. So thank God, Patsy. She Patsy always thinks about me, so she texted me, "You want a cheeseburger?" And so she brought me a cheeseburger.
Hey, I do want to give a shout out to our good friend
Go ahead.
Kelvin. Kelvin Tamagawa is now open for breakfast 6:30 to 9:30 at Fish Express, right across from Walmart, right? And so you get in there, he has all the standards, and plus he makes his bentos. So for you construction workers, everybody out there. And the last time I went in, all the raw fish was out. So of course I had to buy my my sushi, my garlic chicken, my shrimp, and I got half pound of my ogo poke with he had the ahi, and then I had some dried smoked marlin,
Mm.
and also boiled peanuts. And I was a pig stuffing myself at work. I was like, yeah. So just remember, folks, if you're looking for some place early, we've got Fish Express. We always knew that had Konohiki's right down the road, but now Fish Express is open, and I believe the other one is it DJ's Lunchbox? Used to be the old Pose before.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
they sold, I guess, yeah,
yeah. So
yeah.
everything now you got options, but and then of course for those of you on the west side heading to Lihui to work, just remember Uncle Manny Cabral at Uncle's is now serving breakfast early in the morning, takeout. He bought himself one trailer converted into a top notch like a lunch wagon, and it's a drive through, and you order and you pick up right there. Bingo.
Is that
Right in the
wagon?
parking lot.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah. Because I
Right in the
saw the
parking lot.
post and it didn't mention a location, so
It's right in the parking lot. Yep.
perfect. Right in Hanapepe.
You're right in
Hey,
Hanapepe.
Calvin Tamagawa, Fish
Uh-huh.
Express, and then Kyle Oshima, Konohiki, two of my classmates in high school, graduated the same time. Two very good friends of mine, and two of them are very very community friendly. They
Yep.
um,
Hmm.
they support the community as well. Yeah.
So despite businesses closing, mom and pop stores going out of business, we still have a few that is really pushing hard too. Because to make you want to stay in a location, many of us we don't need much, but as long as there's just like one or few places, one or two places, it's fine. It's fine by me. You know, I mean, I can eat Chinese food 200 different ways. I can buy the same stuff and just take a moment, doctor it a little, and I still be happy. You know, so it's
Yeah.
it's stuff like that. It's stuff like that.
Yeah, like we go to Texas and there's so much variety, almost too much, right? Because it's hard to choose. But I agree with you, man. I mean, we get our the local places here that serve good food, and yeah, I'm with you, man. I can eat the same thing every night. It doesn't matter. That Wailua drive-through restaurant, uh, the one by the old Foodland
Mm.
In Kapa, they make the best hamburger steak, man. And
Ooh.
I just eat that whenever we eat out over there. Pat some order or pick them up, and yeah, hamburger steak. I can eat that every day. I I'm not I'm not finicky. I'm not finicky. As long as it's good. If it's crap,
Now,
then forget it.
yeah,
So
I will say, and I know there's those hamburger lovers that just want 100% beef, and you go for it, man. But I'm from the old school where your parents didn't have much. You had a small piece of, minced burger, right? Beef, and you made it stretch. So what did you do? You put in stale bread, green onions, round onions, garlic salt, right? Little bit oyster sauce, and one egg, and then you make hamburgers like that. I tell you that's how I make my burgers. And every time, for some reason, when I do that, and I'm sitting at home, and my lovely wife, she says, "Oh, honey, this is so good." And then I start crying because why? I think of my mom every single time when she made burgers for me. There's something that can spark that memory cell of
Yeah,
yours. Yeah. Whew.
certain things, man. Growing up, we had cause same thing. We didn't have much
Yeah.
at all. So, and for all you Portuguese out there that are watching, I don't know if you guys ate the same thing. We had tuna gravy, hamburger gravy, and salmon gravy, and that's what we had. I mean, it was kind of we had a lot of that, and I don't know how to make that doggone thing, and I wish I did because that would have triggered the memory for sure. But yeah, Patsy does really well.
Oh,
She'll
Kauyu.
yeah, I know Kalyuk. Yeah,
If
Kalyuk.
since he's talking about that, for those out there watching, growing up, and this was back in the days when Hotel Street was Hotel Street, and right around the corner from the Glades was Tin Tin Chop Suey. Okay, right in Mauna Kea. And I tell you, it was open 24 hours a day. And, my dad and I and my mom would sit in there and we watch the sailors. Because that's when they had the shore patrol, right? We'd watch the sailors get bossed up by anybody and everybody because they came out of, the Smith's bar all drunk and they would get clobbered. But then the people at Tintin would say, "You boy, come here. You got enough beatings here. Have some chook, rice soup." And those were
Uh,
the days. I'm talking about back in the '60s and the early '70s. It just I miss those kind of places. I miss those kind of places.
hey, Charlie, I gotta not to change the subject. I gotta ask you because I know you
Yeah.
you you're very knowledgeable about the goings on at the University of Hawaii athletics department.
Yes.
I don't know. I think you know what's going on, and maybe you cannot reveal. But I kind of wanted your thoughts on David Lasner firing Craig Angeles. Um,
Okay.
it's a confidential personnel matter, so he must have pissed somebody off. But from the reports that we see in the media from the coaches and the athletes that they have interviewed, this guy seemed to have been on the right track. He had made some deals that really I thought was beneficial for the University of Hawaii athletics program. David Lasner is on his way out. He's like a month left or so, 2 months or whatever it is. He's like very short, and he makes the decision to fire a guy that apparently everybody seems to like. Two major donors was on camera on the news last night or the night before, saying immediately cut the funding to UH to the supporter program um,
But
because
did you
they're
hear what Lasner said when they did
no,
that?
I
No, this
he
is what he said. He says, you can stop your funding because the decision I made, but you're not hurting anybody but the athletes themselves. What a bunch of crock. Lasner jumped on that to say, oh, by you taking off your support for the UH athletics program, all you're doing is penalizing the athletes. Well, Mr. Lasner should have thought by your actions, don't you think you're penalizing the athletes by removing some? Because, in sports nowadays, one is talent, right?
hmm
The athlete has natural talent, but then the athlete also has to have some type of emotional bond with the athletic program because many of them listen to the ones that commented. You can hear their dialect. They're from Australia. They're not from here. They're from Europe. They're far, far away, and they've built up this bond with this athletic director, only to be made known at this point that they got the rug pulled out from under them.
Yeah.
because this guy that's going out saying, so this is what I will say, and it's to a fault when I say this because Mel, you know this. You and I, we think differently because of our investigative background, right? We see things with different colored lenses. And so there's a lot of things that was said and there was a lot of things that were happening that didn't make sense. And you and we sat in that room when the governor came up, remember? And the UH folks came up
Yes.
and the AD was there, Laura Beeman, I was sitting next to her and I got to talk to this individual and such a charming guy. And as
Charlie,
time yeah, yeah,
I sat next to the assistant
yep,
AD,
uh-huh.
and I asked him. He all he could talk about was how wonderful this guy Craig Angeles was.
Exactly, exactly.
He's
But
like,
that's what I'm trying to say.
we are on track now. That's what he said.
No,
So
but
I was kind of surprised.
that's what I'm trying to say. You've got this, you know, Lasner when he spoke last night on the news. It's as if um no, you guys don't. I said okay, then why is so many people coming to his defense? If
Yeah,
what you're saying is true, I mean, that's the thing that doesn't make sense. So,
yeah.
I mean, this guy, if I was a person, I would he came in, he's turning the program around. I would leave it up to the new president and says, "Hey, you work with this guy, and if you
Bingo.
don't like him, then you do what you but don't make me the bad guy because I got my swan song. I'm leaving.
Yeah.
I'm leaving." And what a way to leave. Now, what kind of accolades are people? All they gonna remember you is, hey, you was a knucklehead that when fire probably one of the best ADs of the university. That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, and when we talk about the UH program, it's football struggling. They're
Hmm.
having a rough year, but this is not only football, right? We're talking about volleyball, we're talking about basketball, women's basketball, men's basketball, baseball. These programs are successful, and this guy has made the agreements with the Mountain West, and he did so much for the kids, the athletes. That's why for Lasner to say that, I didn't hear him say that, but if he said that, shame on him because
Hmm.
it's his call and he's on his way out. I agree with you, Charlie. They should have done it, made the decision after the new president comes in. Is this because remember, Lasner isn't going voluntarily either, right? They're pushing his Okole out. So is this a way to sabotage the athletic program? Now, I
No, but
again,
he said, and this is the thing I'm going to remind everybody who's watching tonight. He said that this decision was made months ago. If that was the case, do them back then. Why wait now?
you know what was really frustrating as they were talking to the first guy that the first donor that came out that day and said he immediately stopped everything.
That's when he had
Um,
his banner hung in the
yeah,
auditorium. The one he took
yeah,
him down.
God,
Yeah,
he took him down. That's the first thing that went, but he couldn't even get an explanation from the university. Now he's a major contributor to the program, the NIL program now, so these athletes can be paid. We had a lot of athletes playing for UH, again, not just football, in all the sports that could be playing in bigger schools, higher ranked schools, but they chose to come here. And they get subsidized by NIL money and they get subsidized with scholarships. And a lot of that is because of the athletic director and what this guy has done. So I don't know. I just thought I'd drop that question because I know, we have been with the UH now for quite a while. Got to meet these key people. Laura Beeman was on our show, and I think this guy Angeles was I think was on the right track. So something may have happened that is so bad that they're getting rid of him. Maybe he jaywalk, Charlie. Maybe he threw a Diet Coke can in the regular trash instead of the recyclable container. I don't know
Oh,
what he did, but
I'm
yeah.
getting really blurry now, right?
Yeah, it's your Wi-Fi, bro. It's your Wi-Fi. HawaiianTel.net or com or whatever it is.
No,
So,
I'm getting blurry because we brought up this subject and somebody down at Spectrum is saying, "Okay, Charlie, I'm gonna make life rough for you tonight."
No, I would guess. I mean, I think the majority of the people that follow UH Sports probably frustrated and disappointed. I really I think they're probably disappointed.
Mhm.
And you know, again, they made the statement. They're not gonna really say much other than it's a confidential personnel matter. So we'll see what he says. He's gonna hang on and he's gonna apparently assist with the transition. So that other assistant AD, the Wahini, gonna take over, and she has no interest in the job. Well, you know that they have someone in mind. You know they have someone in mind, and it's just unfair, unfair.
Yeah.
Speak,
Well,
go ahead.
I like I always said, as you know before, you know, athletics and schooling are two very important things in making a person a successful person. If he plays sports, it can't be all about sports. It has to always be about um, their education as well. Okay, and whatever is happening in this, whatever is happening now with this whole thing that's taking place, we still have to support our student athletes. I mean, I've had the privilege over the last couple of years of spending time in Iran Galat when he brings up the UH basketball players, the men's basketball team, and hosts those clinics that that's been put on a year after year. And now we've got the volleyball involved, and now we're now in fact they've got this big thing going on with the beach volleyball, and you got Cal Poly, UCLA or USC, top ranked beach volleyball that's going to be taking place down in Kalapaki. For us, it's because of relationships that the UH have garnered with like Stephanie and Laurie and others that's involved with bringing these student athletes over, which was never possible before. They never came, but they see the great interest that the kids of Kauai has shown, and they said, "Hey, why not? Let's do a mentoring program. Let's go over there. Let's give them some sports, what they want, and go for it." And that's all anybody can really ask for. And then of course you get derailed with something like this. It's like, oh boy.
Yeah, I think this is going to have a negative effect on the program. I think
Hmm.
just listening to, like you said, Charlie, listening to the athletes and the coaches that they did interview that were brave enough to go on camera and talk about how good this guy was. I wouldn't be surprised you start seeing those coaches being treated poorly now because of what they said. But I think it came as a surprise to everybody. No one saw it coming, and hopefully the regents will take a look at this. And again, if it's something so egregious that you have to let them go, then you should let the public know. After all, it is a public university. It is a public university funded by taxpayers. So, yeah, I think we have a right to know what the heck is going on. But speaking of
Yep.
sports, man, did you see the Mike Tyson fight and Jake Paul? Did you watch that fight?
Little bit, little bit.
I watched that fight, and right after the fight, everybody was saying the fight was rigged and all of that, and I followed that that fight as it was. It got then postponed because Tyson got hurt or sick or whatever, and but Tyson's training videos were available on YouTube and on all social media, and I watched him training. I watched that Mike Tyson look like a little like the old Mike Tyson. He was so fast. He was punching those sparring partners in those bags. I I predicted that he would knock out Jake Paul in the second round, by the second round, just because of that brute force that he still has. And he showed up, and he didn't look like Mike Tyson. He So I think, Charlie, and I'm the Mr. Conspiracy Theorist here, is that they had set it up that way, and that Mike wasn't going to win, because if Mike had unloaded like he did on the in the training ring, he would have knocked that guy out. And there were many opportunities as they were showing replays. after the rounds that Mike could have just knocked this guy out.
Well,
And
well, 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 Mel. Let me tell you something, Mel. You know, I train really hard, Mel.
I mean, but they could have faked it better, I guess is what I'm saying. They could have faked it a little better. But you cannot let Mike Tyson punch you, because if you let Mike Tyson punch you, you're going to sleep. That guy would go
Hmm.
to sleep. So it's hard to stage a fight with Mike Tyson because he's not a normal guy. And again, if you watch the training videos that he was showing, hmm, that guy is still strong. So
Well,
yeah,
my cousin. I told you before. My cousin, his mom and my grandma were sisters. The late great Sam Steamboat Mokuahi, right, wrestler.
oh yeah, yeah, my grandpa's friend.
So so there's been several times he was on. I think it was Cage VH. Back in the days when they had 50 State Wrestling with
Yeah,
Lotele Obel. And sometimes they would stage certain things, and he'll get one guy to come over there and slap him. Well, the story goes, one guy went slap him, and he just went rage. I mean, the guy end up in the hospital after the interview, kind,
yeah.
because he said, "Hey, nobody whacked me like that." And that's one side of wrestling. You got to be careful. You poke the bear the wrong way, he come out of hibernation and poke you back big time.
And that's
So.
why I think Jake Paul never really go after Mike Ida, because he
Mhm.
knew that if he had hit, he just had hit that trigger.
Yeah.
I think it would have been over. And I
Hmm.
know Keith said that he never have his legs. Yeah, he looked tired, and but I tell you, you watch the videos of him training. That I don't, if they had went full on, and if he was able, I believe if Jake Paul was able to hold off from getting knocked out after 3 or 4 rounds, I think Mike Tyson would. He's freaking 60 years old. So I think that he
Hmm.
probably would have tired out, but in that first 2 3 rounds, there's no way that guy could have withstood Mike Tyson's punches. I don't think so. But then again, who am I?
Yeah. Yep.
It was Keith says it was an entertaining fight, to be honest. In retrospect, I agree. That night, I didn't think so because it was so bad. I think the
Hmm.
punches were soft. Even Jake's punches were soft. But the other fights that night, the Wahini fight was brutal, vicious, man. That one girl's eye. Anyway, 40 million to Jake Paul, 20 million to Mike Tyson. That's what the payout was. Outcome didn't matter. Outcome didn't matter. I mean, it was Jake was gonna get 40 even if he lost. Tyson was gonna get 20 even if he won. So I think it was kind of like it was entertainment. I guess it wasn't.
Patty
He,
cake, patty cake.
I did enjoy at the end though, when Jake had basically bow in respect to Tyson, and it was like the last 10 seconds, which is where they typically fly their blows, but he had basically stopped and did the respect thing, and it's sad
Yeah.
um, because I think Tyson.
Well, you know that the Pro Bowl was almost getting to that point because those athletes that made All Pro that showed up at the Pro Bowl, right? And if their team was in to play off in a Super Bowl, they couldn't get hurt. So they would come out and you see everything done at half speed, right? And it was like, oh man,
Yeah, it was kind of the same thing.
yeah,
Kind of the
it
same
was
thing.
good.
It's a good analogy because I remember the Pro Bowl when it wasn't like that. I remember the Pro Bowl when people came out and they played to
And
win. Because
they
it
hit
did mean
hard.
something. Well,
Yeah,
yeah, it was like a regular football game with all stars, but now it's. I'm glad they got away from the game and now they do that other stuff, the flag football and the passing,
yeah,
all that. Because it's better that way. They're not at risk.
right.
They do put on a show. The fans get to go and get their autographs and all of that stuff. So yeah, it's not a bad thing. But I do miss the old. And of course, remember back then. Right now, these kids are coming out of college. They're getting signed on. They're making 2, 3, $400 million. I mean, why would you go play in a Pro Bowl and go make $18,000 if you lose and 20,000 if you win or whatever the silly things
Yeah.
are?
And then it said, "Oh, we fly you to Hawaii."
Yeah.
I said, "No, you don't have to fly me to Hawaii. I got my own jet standing by. I don't need you fly
Now
me to yeah. I don't need you fly me to Hawaii.
it's
I can
obscene
come in."
money. Hey, another flop. I today I had a little bit of time, so I was jotting some stuff down. But you guys ever? How many of you say in the comments? How many of you saw the Garden Island newspapers YouTube show that they do? The news. They did a YouTube with AI. It's all AI. It's all artificial intelligence. And I remember I watched one time, and it was horrible. It was ridiculous. It was shameful. It was stupid, and it just came out on the news. I think yesterday that they decided to cancel that because they weren't getting views. So I decided to find the most recent episode, and here it is. And I like know you guys comments. I'm not gonna play them long, but you gotta see this thing. Here it is.
This is how I got my
Oh
husband
darn
a
it! It's an
four-house
ad. I
set for
gotta
half the
get
price.
past this ad.
So my wife got me this weird new kitchen.
Okay.
Welcome to TGI Today, Kauai Island's only live newscast powered by AI. TGI Today focuses on local and relevant news content you can only get from the Garden Island. I'm James, and with me
James,
is
how's
Rose.
it, Kimo?
Join us as we bring you the in-depth stories behind the headlines right here on TGI Today. On today's show, we'll cover stories about signed waivers bringing attention to suicide prevention, the Point and Hilton Grand Vacations helping build homes in Waimea, and the soaring home sales in July.
Now you see why they got canceled, Charlie. That is like the dumbest thing. I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know what they were thinking.
Well, let me say this. I will make this comment. If you're watching anything, especially those out there tonight watching Mel and I, not only are you hearing us, but you're seeing our mannerisms. And I think 80% is you're watching our mannerisms, right? And the other 20% is listening what's coming out of our mouths. In this AI performance by this guy, you cannot help but watch him. The only thing he does, his eyes will only go up a few times, but the rest of the times his hands go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And the reason I say that is at the, we have this training that we have new officers go through, and the gentleman looks very educated, but he'll be talking and says, "Welcome. Today in this security format," and then he'll do something like this. You're going to be learning most things. And his body moves at times that normally wouldn't move. It's like if you hear a gunshot, you flinch, right? This person
Yeah.
doesn't flinch at all. So then, and when he pronounces his words, sometimes you can associate with how they make their lips to get like an O, but you can't make an O sound, and yet, or the word, you know, something with an O, but yet your lips are flat right across and go like, oh, something like that. Then you tell yourself, okay, that's AI. It's driving me nuts. And so a lot of guys will come up to me and says, "Boss, we gotta watch this stuff." I go, "Yeah." I said, just bear with it. Because if you can get through this, you can get through those people that think the curb is their private parking lot, and you'll know how to handle them. So just get through it, please. Yeah.
Yeah, that we could actually do a Mel and Charlie. The technology is out there right now. I'm playing a lot with AI now, and yeah, um, we could actually do a full show with AI. Just
But in
it'd be
Hawaii, you
foolish.
cannot say AI in Hawaii. You have to pronounce it AI. Okay.
Check out Black Mirror. There was an episode about influencers getting numbers, and at the end they were replaced by AI because they were online so long they were able to replace. Yeah, yeah. That's it. So AI. Yeah, there's definitely something we gotta watch out. But yeah, it's crazy, crazy, crazy. That was, I. I mean, I saw that first episode a while back, and I thinking nobody's gonna watch it. Number one, it's dumb.
Hmm.
That episode that I showed you was episode 4. So they went 4 episodes and decided, we're not getting the views that we thought we would get. Well, their newspaper is rubbish anyway. So if you convert your newspaper to AI, you're just going to get one computerized rubbish. That's all. It's the Garden Island is horrible. That it's not even
Yeah.
it's called, you say newspaper. It's Olds paper. It's not newspaper. It's Olds paper because they don't have nothing new in their thing. I don't even think they have a reporter on Kauai right now.
Hmm.
Hey,
Well,
go ahead, go ahead.
so another thing that came out today, and it came off the county news, is that there was two complaints that was brought before the police commission. Did you read about that?
Mm-hmm.
And both were not, well, basically were not sustained.
Yeah.
I'm somewhat confused, because usually when you get side by side complaints, you either get some kind of successful outcome or you get one that doesn't make it because everything has its own identity, right? As far as the complaint is concerned, one will probably go forward, one will stay back. Okay, so I'm just wondering, being a former police commissioner back in the day, and you know this, Mel, that we had to use a third party investigator, right? When there's complaints. Now, I've heard the county now has gotten away from that and they're using possibly their HR department. Is that correct?
Oh, I know that I'm not sure how the police commission handled these 2 complaints. I don't know, but I do
Hmm.
know that the HR does investigate some of the complaints. The more serious complaints, we just had one at Council Services. That was an attorney, a special attorney on Oahu, and a investigator from Oahu were retained. So I'm not sure how the commission does it. I know that they have funding for these cases to be investigated by investigators because HR doesn't have investigators. It, you know, it. This is where, and I will follow up on this because that would be, I think, a mistake if we did that because to
Well,
be an
well, this
investigator, Charlie, you know this, man. It takes training, it takes experience, and I'm not.
no, but just think of it. And I'm sorry, Mug. You know, it's at the tip of my tongue, and I just got to get it off my chest. The thing that's really bothering me is these complaints are coming from seasoned investigators, right?
Right.
These so-called complaints. I would think that as an investigator, they know that if they didn't have enough evidence to go forward with the complaint, they would have never let the complaint go forward. So I think they're very satisfied in what they had and they brought the complaint forward. And now to have it just squashed, it's like, wow. If it was me, I would say, wow, you must be saying that I must be bad at what I do then.
Well,
If
in a case, I think I read in the press release that it was complaints of retaliation. I guess that's what it
right.
was, right? So again,
Hmm.
I honestly do not know the circumstances of the case, but
Hmm.
in a case of where you're talking about retaliation, and the press release today said that the commission said there wasn't enough evidence to sustain. Um, Basically, you're saying that the complaints that were made by these officers, well, they made it up. They
Yeah.
made it up. So now I don't know where this thing will go. That's why I think I'm very disappointed if the commission had the investigation done by HR, who are not trained investigators. When you're talking about these types of internal complaints, that the impacts of the results can can affect the morale of this department, which is pretty much at its all-time low right now.
Yep.
And
And
that's
that's
why it
what
is
I'm worried about.
critical that the police commission, with with the advice of the county attorney, should have gone outside. I think all complaints against police officers or elected officials or government officials should be investigated by investigators and not civilians. I just that's to me it makes no sense because HR looks at cases with a different set of lenses. They're not looking at it as an
Labor.
investigate.
They're
They
looking
don't know
from a
how
labor
to. They're
approach.
not
Yeah.
trained how to interview somebody. They're not trained with the kinetic technologies or techniques that can determine whether someone's being deceptive or not. They're just asking questions that's on a sheet, a checklist, and if they don't have a smoking gun, then it's not sustainable. Well, the job of an investigator, and I have to tell you this, Charlie, is to go determine whether or not a smoking gun exists, and it makes no sense if we didn't do it that way. I can tell you, I will follow up on this for sure because I didn't know that. That's the first I've heard. Um, but I do know that HR handles some of the complaints, the complaints like maybe harassment in a workplace or stuff like that. That gets handled internally. But on a case where you're talking about retaliation, which could lead to a civil rights violation, that should be handled by professionals outside of the department. That's just my opinion.
And to anyone that's watching here, Charlie Iona has no stake in the game. It's just I was a former commissioner. I knew my roles and responsibilities. When you have something as serious as that, it's nothing to be taken lightly because if there is credible evidence, it will come out in the wash, plain and simple. It's hard to hide those kind of things. But if you have it stroked from the very start, you heard the term rubbish in, rubbish out. That's what
Yeah,
you're going to get. That's what you're
absolutely.
going to get. And so that's why I'm just curious because this could, and you said it, you hit the nail on the head. This could set a precedent of having morale, since it's already at its all time low, go even much lower or not be able to rebound from it.
Yeah,
And so, where is the safety for the citizens of this island? Who's to say,
that's,
right?
that's actually quite disturbing.
Yeah.
Quite disturbing.
So,
Hey, we're getting close to the 8 o'clock hour. Next week, Thursday, is Thanksgiving, Charlie. So
yes.
obviously, we're not going to be doing a show on Thanksgiving night. We would let everybody enjoy their time with their families. Dickie Chang called me today. He is working with a another fellow from Honolulu. I believe it's Oahu, and they're doing a fundraiser for the Kauai Lifeguard Association. I talked to you about this, Charlie, a while back, and
Yep.
then we had some scheduling issues. But so the guy that Dickie's working with is has basically donated a VIP passes for 4 people for the December 8th Los Angeles Rams versus Buffalo Bills football game at LA, and they're going to raffle off, not raffle, they're going to auction off this package. I believe they have 2 packages for this game. It's VIP everything, VIP parking, VIP booth, VIP field pass. You'll be treated like a king.
VIP
And
bathrooms, I heard. Yeah.
yes, they get their own bathrooms in the suite. So yeah, you don't need
Hmm.
to go stand in line and
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's. I mean, I wish I
Everything.
could afford it. I would actually try, but it's not cheap. But it is. There are people out there. So he called me today and asked me if he could come on a show. I told him come on tonight, but he couldn't do it tonight. His partner couldn't come on. So I told him next week Wednesday. I know Charlie, you play music, but that's the only time we can accommodate him because we want to get the word out, and maybe one of the villagers can afford to at least bid for this thing. But all the proceeds, 100% of the proceeds, will go to the Kauai Lifeguard Association, and those guys are an amazing organization that helps our lifeguards program here on Kauai tremendously. I'm talking tremendously. So next
Yep.
week Wednesday, folks, if you guys are interested, we'll have Dickie Chang, and it's probably going to be funny just because Dickie Chang will be on.
Hmm.
But aside from that, Charlie, Thanksgiving next Thursday, man. Any
Yeah.
Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
I'd love to hear from our villagers. What are you thankful for? But Charlie, I'll let you go and first. And what's your Thanksgiving
Well,
message to the village?
my Thanksgiving message is to all the villagers out there. One, we have to be I shouldn't say we have to be, but I know you are. We have to be thankful for what the good Lord has bestowed upon each and every one of us. And I am so grateful on this new lease of life. I told many of you before I had open heart surgery. It wasn't a fun time and then it was dark, but I'm here. Uh, 12 years later, my pipes are still clean and open. And so I guess I'm doing something right. But I hope and pray that whatever you folks are thankful for, that you let your loved ones know how much they mean to you. I know some of my grandchildren will be coming up to see the grandmother and I because we hardly get to see them since we're on Kauai. But I know that many of you have much to be thankful for. And, as time passes us so fast, now's the time to take full advantage and let whoever is out there know that you love them and you want to be there for them, especially during during hard times, as well as maybe not so hard, but just be available to them. So I think for this Thanksgiving, I want everyone to be safe and to know that Mel and I, we love you and we can't thank you enough because without you, we wouldn't be having this platform. And this is like our third and fourth phase right now going through this. And I have to tell you, we are enjoying it immensely. So thank you very, very much.
Right on, Charlie. Yeah, well, there's so much to be thankful for, and obviously our families. My wife, my
Your
son and daughter.
babies.
I get my brand new grandson Chahari, and we get one more coming in January. We will be going to Texas for Christmas, and Baron will be flying over, so we'll be able to spend Christmas again together, the whole family, in Texas. We used to do it in Oregon, but it'll be in Texas. But yeah, every night I go to bed and before I go to sleep, I say a prayer and I pray for everybody. I pray for everybody because our world is so. What's going on right now is scary. Uh, we're on a verge of World War III, and we got to start thinking about other people, and we got to start thinking about what we can do to help everyone. As I rang the bell for 4 years, and I 4 years for 4 hours, and I watched these families come up. This one guy came up, and he was talking to his daughter, and he was off to the side, but I could hear him telling the daughter. I think she must have asked him what was the guy ringing the bell for, and he just told her. He says, sweetie, there's a lot of kids that don't have what you have, and there's a lot of kids that this Christmas are not going to have Christmas presents. So that kettle right there, that's for people like us to put some of our money in, so other kids who will not have a Christmas will have an opportunity to get some presents. Now he didn't know I was listening, but I was, and he took out his wallet and he put some bills together and had her come and put them in the kettle. But that's how that girl. So when she came up, she's so cute, and I said, "How old are you?" She said 7, and I said, "Yeah, amazing." And I explained to her what was going to happen with the money, and I pointed to the gifts that Jay Murata had put in a wagon. I said, "All those gifts are going to go to kids that otherwise would not be able to have a Christmas." So, but that's how we got to start reminding our kids, our
Hmm.
grandkids that nowadays this generation they're so it's everything is given to them, right? Where they don't realize that some of the kids that's sitting right next to them in school don't have anything. So we got to remind them, and we got to set the examples for our kids and grandkids. So Charlie, it's always a pleasure. I mean, we've both been through a lot. Again, maybe we'll have to talk about that story again of how we met, but I learned a lot from you and from your wife, and about the importance of giving, and yeah, we have so much to be thankful for. So as we head out to our week before Thanksgiving, I just want to wish you all a happy Thanksgiving,
Yes.
a super Merry Christmas. We'll see you guys before Christmas, but this is where it starts, the holiday season. And
Hmm.
I just wish only the best for each and every one of you. And thank you guys again for supporting the show. Thank you guys for supporting the efforts that we do. The few times that we have come to you guys to ask for help with certain organizations, you guys have come through. The village is strong, and we hope to help more people out in the next upcoming years. So, with that, Charlie, thank you again.
Thank you, my brother. Appreciate it, and thank you for having me on, as always. And to our villagers out there, take care. You know, just like I said, hug your loved ones and don't let them go. Don't let
Mhm.
them go. Just keep them close to you at all times, as much as you can. As much as
Raja,
you can.
that's good advice. In fact, tonight, all of you in the village, if you're not with your spouse or significant other or your kids, once we go off the air, just go run up to them as fast as you can and give them a big fat hug and kiss, and just tell them,
Yep.
"I love you." Go do that.
Yep.
All right, you guys take care. God bless. We love you guys. We'll see you guys next week Wednesday with Dickie Chang Valao. Aloha.